Hey guys, it's Mike Young, chiropractor, energy worker here in Nashville, Tennessee. This is a Health Links video. These are the videos where we explore the connections and the links between the way we live our life and our physical body. Today's topic is jaw tension and expression of anger and what they have to do with one another. Okay, so it's my estimation from my clinical practice of 13 plus years, as well as just watching and observing people in their various daily activities, right? That at least half of us, 50%, maybe more like 70% really, are carrying significant amount of excess tension in the jaw, which means these muscles are overly contracted. They won't relax from a conscious cue to relax them, and the jaw won't drop down. It's literally stuck in the closed position often, okay? So, what does that come from? Typically, it comes from a repression, a suppression, or subduing of anger, okay? And so in our society, most of us have grown up with a certain amount of suppression of our anger. Maybe we've been taught things like children should be seen and not heard. Maybe we've been taught to be really, really polite and make sure we're taking care of other people's feelings, making sure somebody doesn't get offended. Or maybe we feel unsafe that if we let our anger out, we'll hurt somebody or somebody will hurt us. There's all kinds of sociological reasons, most of them that have been imprinted on us in our youth, that will create this subconscious lockdown in the jaw to prevent the angry expression from coming out. And so what I'm going to talk about is how anger actually serves us. And when we learn how to use it with some heart energy and some compassion, then it is the perfect energy for drawing clean boundaries. Okay? And so what happens is when we perceive that someone crosses our boundaries, whether they've done it or not, is kind of immaterial to our body. It doesn't really matter to our physiological response whether or not somebody actually crosses our boundaries. But when we perceive it, for example, let's say we're driving down the road and there's a car right next to us, right, in a multi-lane road, and they cut off in front of us. Now, we don't know if they saw us, if they didn't, if they were spacing out, if they did it on purpose. We have no clue, right? They just cut in front of us, and the normal response when someone crosses our boundaries, whether it's in a vehicle, whether it's any sort of social situation, whether they tried to steal our wallet or spoke disrespectfully to us, it doesn't really matter. The normal response is to have that anger generated and speak up right away. Either speak up or use physical movements to create a boundary, right? And so when someone pulls over in front of the car, the typical response would be, hey, real quick without even thinking, or beep. Right? We get right on that horn. We make noise quickly. But what happens to most of us, because of our conditioning, because we've been subdued to a certain extent, because those pieces in childhood maybe got overdone a little bit, is that impulse comes up and we clamp it down. And maybe we hit the brakes and we slow down. But we don't beep and we don't say, hey, what's up? What's going on? And so we are literally clamping it down. Same thing happens, for example, if, let's say, your brother-in-law comes over and he wants to sleep on your couch. He just needs a place to stay for a couple days. And you're like, yeah, no problem. They come and it's fine for the first day or two. And then he says, hey, I need a couple of extra days here. I'm really in a tight spot. And you're like, okay, that's no problem, yeah. But then it kind of goes on and starts leaving his dirty socks in the living room, maybe stops washing his dishes, and it's obvious that there's some boundaries being crossed. There's a little bit of disrespect in the air there. Now, if you have a healthy relationship to boundaries and your own anger, it's really easy to say, oh, hey, Todd, I noticed that you left your socks out. I love having you here. Please clean up after yourself, and we're really glad that you're here. Okay, pretty easy if you have that natural, healthy relationship. But most of us don't feel that comfortable speaking up like that, okay? If that's you, your jaw is probably a little tight, okay? So we're making the link there between the tightness in the jaw and comfortable feelings speaking up, or whether or not we are comfortable speaking up, right? Okay, so what can you do about it? Okay, what the medical profession or what the and the dental profession do about it usually is maybe you're in the dentist's office and they say, oh, you know what, you grind your teeth at night. There's these wear marks and your teeth are grinding all night long. And you say, oh, really? Wow, my jaw is pretty tense. And so what the dentist will say is, hey, we can put a stop to that. I can solve that for you. We'll take a mold of your teeth. We'll make you a custom night guard. And they just put that in there, and you wear it at nighttime, and your teeth literally have this physical barrier, and they can't grind anymore. Okay, so that's a physical way that they'll take care of that grind. Now the grind, though, okay, all those things you wanted to say during your day when so and so cut you off, when you were talking, or a car pulled in front of you, or your brother-in-law who was sleeping on the couch and didn't take care of his mess. All those things that you maybe didn't say, those are the grind that are staying in the body. But because we're subdued and we're holding it back, it doesn't get out until we lay down and go to sleep. And those inhibitions that we have turn themselves off to an extent that we start to allow it. So we're asleep and we grind out the stuff that we didn't let out earlier in the day in a healthy way. So we're subconsciously letting it out. We're purging it. Now there's a toll taken on the teeth. Okay, and so the dentists are putting that guard in. And hey, you might say, okay, now I'm not grinding anymore. There's no more breaking down of the tooth structure. But what happens in that case is because it's a self-expression, because that grind is still there, and because you didn't maybe have that healthy outlet and drawing of boundaries, is that grind actually, if you block it in the teeth, goes right up into the cranial bones. We see this all the time in clinical practice. We get this torquing and twisting and contraction of the cranial bones. And so there's always a price to not expressing. There's always a price to not being your whole self and speaking up when the time is right. And so what else can you do? What can you do that acknowledges the fact that maybe you're on a spiritual path and you're wanting to become the greatest version of yourself? I'm going to give you 2 ideas. There's lots of things you can do, but try one of these 2, okay? I hope they pique your interest here. One of them is simply to become aware of your jaw during and after situations where you perceive your boundaries have been crossed. Okay, so you're in the break room at work and somebody says something, offhand remark, and you think, well, maybe that was a subtle dig. I don't know about that. And you walk away maybe, and you're thinking, and you're noticing your jaw. Wow, my jaw's kind of tight. I don't know what he meant by that. What a jerk. Wow, that's so interesting. Okay, and you just feel your jaw. Now, once you can feel that tightness, you keep your awareness there. Keep feeling it. And take a nice deep breath. You're done. You did it. Now you're going to do that over and over and over again every time you feel that someone has crossed a boundary, okay? And so over the course of a couple of weeks, it won't take long. If you do this consistently and you do it sincerely, you'll start to develop this awareness of when your boundaries are being crossed and how it affects your body. And pretty soon, sooner than later, something will click in you, and your body will say, and your mind will say, or your subconscious or your conscious mind will say, it's not worth it. It's not worth holding it back. The load that I'm bearing here is not worth it. And then when so-and-so says something to you next time over the copy machine, you say, hey, what did you mean by that? Why would you say that? And you find yourself just speaking up. And you find it, maybe it's not even aggressive, but it is kind of shooting from the hip. And you're breathing, and it feels great. And regardless, and they may respond beautifully to it, and you may realize, oh, you meant that. Oh, I thought you were making a dig, but it seems like you were just actually throwing me a compliment. Thank you. Or if it really was a dig, they might surprise you and say, gosh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it that way. And you both take a breath and you say, oh wow, and you walk away thinking, hey, I like living my life like this, and you feel empowered. Okay, anger expressed doesn't have to be mean. Okay, it even becomes power expressed as you get that comfort level with that energy, that gift of anger, that gift of empowerment to speak up. Okay, it becomes powerful. It doesn't become mean. It can be done with compassion. So that's what starts to happen with that one. I'm telling you, it won't take long. Okay, so practice that. Now, another way you can do this, and this is a way that kind of takes us from this subdued, repressed place, and we stretch out the spectrum and we get kind of wild. We do the opposite. And so, but we do it in a safe place. Okay, so at the end of your day, if you're a person with a tight jaw, and you might be, or know somebody that is if you're watching this video, what you're going to do at the end of the day, get yourself in front of the mirror, close the bathroom door, look at yourself, and you're going to go back in your mind through the day, and you're going to stop on any moment in the day when you wished you had spoken up to somebody. Okay, and so you're going back through your day, and you remember you went to Starbucks, and the clerk selling you the drink, it seemed like they gave you a snide look when they gave you the drink. And so you're going to overreact in this exercise, okay, because you stuffed it before and you were way down here. And even though the appropriate response might be here, you're going to take it all the way up to here, and you're going to do something, whatever it is. You're going to go, hey, nobody looks at me like that. What's up? And then you can laugh at yourself, right? Because you're stretching it out. This is an exercise. It doesn't mean you're actually going to respond that way, okay? And then, you think back, oh, that person did basically ran a red light, a really late yellow, and I had to wait for them to cross over. They took my space. And how are you going to respond to that? So you go back in your mind, like, how would I respond to that if I was a wild, crazy guy? Unsubdued completely. You stretch that other end of the spectrum and you go, hey, honk, 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 jerk. All right, if you want to cuss, cuss. Do whatever it is. You're really going to let it out. This whole thing is designed to let it out instead of stuffing it in. The stuffing it in is this hard energy, right? Letting it out, actually, you'll smile probably when you're done, okay? This might be a little uncomfortable at first, but you'll get used to it, and you got to realize you're doing this as an exercise to help you express clean boundaries. Okay? Help you express clean boundaries. It actually helps other people who are crossing boundaries when somebody says, nope, this is my boundary. Just like children need boundaries, we all need people to hold their boundaries around us. It teaches us how to be respectful. Okay? So that's all you have to do. Now, at the end of that exercise, you go through your whole day. It should take about 3 or 4 minutes probably, maybe a little longer, maybe a little shorter. And you might even have some tears afterwards because you've been holding it in so long. It's sad. Okay, there's loss. Oh man, it's been 20 years and I haven't been expressing myself. Okay, so let yourself cry a little bit. This is about letting it out. Okay, and this might take you a little while to get comfortable with, but just go for it. It's worth it, and I'll tell you that for sure. Okay, so at the end of this, you go off, do whatever you need to do to get ready for bed, and lay down in bed. And I'm telling you, if you're a tooth grinder, there's a good likelihood you're going to lay in bed and you're going to sleep like a little kid. And how do they sleep? With their jaw open. Maybe your arm goes up. All right, you sleep like that toddler. Because you already ground it out. You don't have to. You did it consciously. So now you're bringing it into the light of your consciousness. Guys, it's happening at nighttime anyway. It's probably happening in your dreams. Things like that. Okay, so we're bringing it into your consciousness. And that is another way that you can stretch it. Now, once you've stretched it from subdued all the way up to wild person, crazy guy, crazy girl, then in that regular world situation, you have this whole range for your spontaneous choice, okay? And so basically what's going to happen is your body's going to pick the right range as you get better and better versed at this. The fact that you stretched it all the way is going to make it real easy for you to step up to here when the person gives you a snide look and you say, whoa, what's going on? And then they are taken aback because somebody actually spoke to it, and they'll say, oh, I don't know, I'm just having a hard day, or maybe they say something else. Maybe they say, oh, I thought you had a funny shirt on or something. Usually they won't say anything other than excuse me or sorry or nothing. But you spoke up, and that's the point. Okay? You spoke up, and your jaw will reward you for it, okay? And you'll find yourself being more happy. You'll find yourself being more loving. Okay? I know it's a paradox. You get used to that anger coming out. You get used to drawing your clean boundaries. Oh, I'm telling you, you will live in a world of greater satisfaction and greater love. Okay? I hope this all makes sense to you. The other thing you can do is get with a body worker who understands the link between physiology and the way that you live your life. Okay, I can do that for you. If you're in the Nashville area, come and see me. Or if you have somebody else, by all means, go and see them. Check out my website, drwithin.com. If you're not in the Nashville area, call me up. Get my phone number from my website. Call me up and ask me, who can I see in this area? I know a whole bunch of people scattered throughout the country and a few throughout the world who can do this kind of work that'll help you open these things up on top of and beyond what you're doing with these exercises. Okay. Also, if you're not in the Nashville area and you want to work with me, particularly call me. I can do distance healing sessions on the phone. It's amazing work if that's something you're open to. Okay. Either way, take your body and your life into your own hands. You can do this. You can make big progress fast, whether it's on your own or in conjunction with a skilled body worker. Okay. I hope that this has really served you. I hope it's interesting. Please leave me some comments. This is only the second video I did in this series. I'd love to get your feedback so that I can craft the next videos with that feedback in mind and continually improve these. And remember, as you open yourself to the world through your expression, through your love, through sharing of the person that you are, the world will open itself to you, and you'll be improving not only yourself, but the entire world. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it.